Star Citizen Alpha 3.10 is going to introduce a surprisingly high amount of features, from new missions to something as trivial as body dragging, and one of the most important of these new features ought to be the new flight model, which, after about 10 hours of testing, makes me think that a lot of us will have to make an effort to relearn how to fly ships in the game. People of the verse, hello and welcome to the channel. It's the Eradicator, and in today's video I will give you my take on the new flight model that we are being introduced to in Star Citizen Alpha 3.10. So buckle up because it starts right now. Before we actually start talking about the new flight model, I want to do a little debriefing of the previous flight model, which, after a lot of testing in Star Citizen Alpha 3.10 PTU, I find it far inferior compared to what we are experiencing now. In Star Citizen Alpha 3.9, ships basically feel like they have no mass and respond immediately to whatever command we are giving them. To give you a quick example of how absurd the flight model was in Alpha 3.9, I could, for example, mention the fact that I found that the best combat ship for the money, meaning that we won't mention the Prowler here, turned out to be the Freelancer. For your information, the MISC Freelancer is actually an entry-level ship for the cargo hauling industry. Sure, it was also designed to be capable of defending itself against small-scale attacks from pirates, but it was not designed to lead attacks against armed-to-the-teeth flight groups and single-handedly defeat all of the ships one by one. I was able to do that in Star Citizen Alpha 3.9, and it is well documented on this channel. In fact, I was even able to beat Pirate Swarm and its Hammerhead boss with a Freelancer. That's how ridiculous things had gotten. Well, guys, I am happy to report that in Alpha 3.10, those days are over. In Star Citizen Alpha 3.10, ships now actually do feel like they have mass, and a heavy ship will not be able to take the role of a fighter. And believe me, I tried. I took a Freelancer for a combat beacon mission. I even had a gunner to make sure that I was putting all the chances on my side, and it failed. It failed so bad that we didn't even kill a single enemy combatant. That's how bad it was, and you know what, guys? I was actually glad that it went down this way, because cargo ships are for cargo hauling, not for combat skirmishes. All of those changes therefore make us feel that ships are now far more sensible than they have ever been. So much so that the new flight model made me go back to flying with a joystick for the first time since 2015. I've always thought that Star Citizen has always done its best to try to include all kinds of setups, and I think that the game should be commended for doing so, as simulation games have a tendency to feel daunting to the mainstream player. But with this new flight model, I have a feeling that mouse and keyboard players are going to be at a disadvantage, as this particular setup does not allow pilots to fully bring the required finesse some situations may demand, such as landing in a storm or making an approach in a rugged area. I've also noticed that thruster management is also far more important in Star Citizen Alpha 3.10 than how it was in previous builds, to the point that in some ways the boundary between coupled and decoupled modes seem too blurry. To me, this is a step in the right direction. I do believe that flying a ship should be challenging and should require hours of practice, because I think that flying should be a skill that can be tradable between players if we want piloting to be a viable profession further down the line. Last but not least, I've also noticed a resurgence of the VTOL mode. Now, fear not, this is not a comeback of Alpha 3.6's VTOL mode, which is a shame because I thought that it was awesome, but in Star Citizen Alpha 3.10, ships equipped with VTOL thrusters seem to be more stable and precise when it comes to atmospheric landings, and given the fact that ships equipped with VTOL engines are, at this moment, not the most aerodynamic in the game, it brings a nice balance between a rough approach and a smooth landing that in the end feels very satisfying. I like it a lot. Overall, I feel very positive about the new changes to the game's flight mechanics. The whole experience just feels more organic, and despite the ships being jerkier and more challenging to fly, Piloting a ship feels much more rewarding, as it truly requires skills to successfully be able to stir a spaceship to get it to do whatever we want to do. And to me, this is perhaps the devs' biggest accomplishments in this patch. But please, let me know what you guys think of the new flight model mechanics implemented in Star Citizen Alpha 3.10. This was merely my opinion, but we are literally millions of backers, and it would be foolish to think that I am speaking in the name of the Star Citizen community when I'm using my platform to share my thoughts on something as critical as Star Citizen's flight mechanics. Also, if you liked today's content, please consider giving this channel a like, or maybe you could subscribe to the channel to be sure to see such content on a daily basis. It also really helps with the growth of the channel. Also, guys, speaking of subscribing, if you subscribe to the channel, you get a chance at winning the giveaway prizes. Be on the lookout for the next giveaway video, which is coming up in a couple of hours. We're gonna have an exceptional prize in August. And that's all for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. This is the Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.
Proximity alert. Deck. Proximity alert. Starboard. Landing complete. Engines offline. Landing gear deployed.